Michael Madsen was never the kind of actor who blended in. With a gravelly voice, steel blue stare, and aura of unpredictable danger, he carved a place in Hollywood reserved for men who don't follow the rules, but somehow define them. Over the course of 4 decades, Madsen appeared in nearly 200 films, never quite a leading man, but always unforgettable. His characters were often tough, wounded, sometimes brutal, but behind the menace was an actor of deep soul, a poet at heart, and a man who lived life as fiercely as he portrayed it on screen. Born on September 25, 1957, in Chicago, Illinois, Michael was raised in a working-class family. His mother, Elaine, was a poet and filmmaker, and his father, Calvin, was a firefighter. It was a family of strong emotions and restless energy. Michael's younger sister, Virginia Madsen, would also go on to become a celebrated actress. But the Madsens weren't born into Hollywood. They clawed their way in. Growing up, Michael was a self-described misfit. He was fascinated by outlaws, by cowboys, by the broken men he saw in noir films and spaghetti westerns. He wasn't the class clown or the star athlete. He drifted through odd jobs, mechanic, carpenter, gas station attendant, before finding something like purpose on a theater stage. He began working at Chicago's Steppenwolf Theater Company, where he studied under John Malkovich. It was gritty, real, and electric, and Michael knew he'd found what he was meant to do. By the early 1980s, he moved to Los Angeles and began landing small roles. He had a presence that casting directors couldn't ignore. His first breakout came in 1984 with The Natural, where he played Bump Bailey, a cocky baseball player opposite Robert Redford. It was a small role, but Madsen's swagger was unmistakable. Hollywood took notice. Then came the 1990s, and with it, the roles that would define his legacy. In 1992, Quentin Tarantino cast Madsen in Reservoir Dogs as Mr. Blonde, the sadistic, sunglasses-wearing criminal who performs one of the most notorious scenes in film history. The infamous ear-cutting set to Stealers Wheels, Stuck in the Middle with You. It was shocking, disturbing, and utterly hypnotic. Madsen played the role with a calm menace that made him unforgettable. He didn't overact. He simmered. That performance turned him into a cult icon almost overnight. Tarantino later revealed that he wrote the role with Madsen in mind, knowing only he could bring the right mix of danger and cool. In a film full of killers, Madsen made Mr. Blonde the one who haunted audiences long after the credits rolled. Following Reservoir Dogs, Madsen became a go-to actor for tough guy roles. He played cops, gangsters, cowboys, hitmen, and morally gray fathers. He had a way of bringing humanity to even the most hardened characters. In Thelma and Louise, he played Susan Sarandon's sweet-natured boyfriend. In Donnie Brasco, he stood toe-to-toe with Al Pacino and Johnny Depp in a mafia world unraveling. And in Kill Bill, Tarantino brought him back again, this time as Bud, the washed-up assassin living in a trailer, nursing regrets and waiting for redemption or revenge, whichever came first. Madsen's appeal wasn't just his physicality, it was emotional. He had the rare ability to look like a man who could break your ribs with a single punch, while also carrying the ache of a poet who'd lost everything. That duality made him more than just a character actor. It made him mythic. He was prolific, sometimes to a fault. Madsen never stopped working. He appeared in big studio films and low-budget thrillers, crime dramas and westerns, art house indies and forgettable straight-to-DVD releases. He admitted many roles were taken to support his family. He had 6 children and often said that being a father was the most important role of his life. But behind the scenes, Michael's life was not without struggle. He battled addiction and personal demons for years. He often talked about feeling typecast, about being misunderstood by the industry. There was a self-destructive streak, a sense that he was too raw, too real for Hollywood's polished machine. But he never stopped creating. He wrote poetry, dark, bruised, beautiful verses about pain, longing, and love. He published several collections, including Burning in Paradise and When Pets Kill. His writing revealed a man far more sensitive than his screen persona suggested. In interviews, Madsen was candid, funny, and introspective. He spoke about fatherhood with pride, about loyalty like it was sacred. He valued friendship deeply, especially with collaborators like Tarantino and co-stars who saw through the tough guy image. He wasn't interested in celebrity. He was interested in the work. In 2022, tragedy struck his family when his son, Hudson Madsen, died by suicide. The loss devastated Michael, who was already navigating sobriety and personal turmoil. He opened up about the pain, about feeling helpless, about trying to hold on. It was one of the few times the world saw the man behind the myth completely unguarded. And in that vulnerability, fans and peers rallied behind him. The tough guy had a broken heart, and he didn't hide it. Despite the loss, Madsen continued to act. He took on smaller roles, indie projects, voiceover work, and appearances at fan conventions. He remained loyal to the craft. For him, acting was never about fame. It was a way to survive, to communicate, to heal. In July 2025, Michael Madsen was found unresponsive in his home in Malibu. He was 67 years old. The news sent shockwaves through the film community. His sister, actress Virginia Madsen, released a tribute calling him half legend, half lullaby. A poetic truth that captured the contradictions of a man who could play killers and lovers with the same aching intensity. Colleagues remembered him as fiercely loyal, wickedly funny, and unapologetically authentic. Fans posted clips from Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, and rare interviews where his sincerity shone through. The industry lost a one-of-a-kind presence, a man who never played by the rules, who left pieces of himself in every role, and who always chose art over artifice. Michael Madsen's legacy is more than a filmography. It's a feeling. It's the way he could make you uneasy and empathetic at the same time. It's the memory of a voice that growled like gravel, but could read poetry like a prayer. It's the reality that behind every screen tough guy is a human being, carrying weight, writing pain, surviving one scene at a time. He didn't chase the Hollywood dream, he lived on the edges of it. And from there, he gave us characters that weren't just memorable. They were alive. For every fan who ever quoted Mr. Blonde, for every aspiring actor who feared they were too rough around the edges, for every person who saw beauty in the broken, Michael Madsen mattered. And in the quiet that follows the final curtain, his voice still echoes. Low, steady, poetic, just like he was.